What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Friday, May 6th. I just said the date. I honestly think I said May 7th in the video on FanDuel. That's my closeout. I'm not going to re-record that, but good God, I'm remembering it now. I really do think I said 7th. I said two different dates. God, dates are hard. Dates are hard. Now, before we do anything, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Let me know in the comments section who your favorite plays are, and then go sign up at No House Advantage using the promo code Awesemo and get $25 on your first deposit. And we're rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with JaVale McGee, Maxi Kleber, Spencer Dinwiddie, Paul Reed, and Reggie Bullock on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites? My top 5 plays for today? Time to find out. In first at number 5 is Luka Doncic, point guard eligible, 11,600, projected for 65. The goal is 71, and he is in the optimal lineup 42% of the time. 38 minutes here for Luka, 1.7 fantasy points per minute. You guys know he's going to do everything offensively. 40% usage, 33 points, 10 boards, 9 assists, a stock and a half. This game should be competitive. They are 1-point dogs at home. You can't project a game to be closer than something like that. It's by all accounts, a pick 'em. So you're going to get 38 plus minutes out of Luka. Now, are the Suns going to put him in every single pick and roll in the second half again? Or in both halves? Probably. It's not going to go well from Luka from a conditioning perspective, but he's going to have the ball all the time. If he's not shooting, he's certainly passing to get somebody else involved. I'm not changing anything. His raw point ceiling is so much higher than everybody else on this slate. So Luka Doncic is in at number 5. At number 4, we go to Philly for Tobias Harris. Power forward eligible, 7,300, projected for 40. The goal is 42.5, and he's in the optimal lineup 43% of the time. 39 minutes here for Harris, around a fantasy point per minute, 20 points, 8 boards, 3 assists, and a stock and a half. We saw Tobias Harris play a little bit at the 5 with no Joel Embiid. They're probably going to have to do something like that again. Maybe not your best spot in the world, but he's just been a different player since we got to the playoffs. He did not really take the James Harden and the James Harden and Tyrese Maxey backcourt, and he really became marginalized later in the season, but it's been a lot different during the playoffs. I think he looks really good. I think 40 minutes is certainly on the table for Harris, and so long as Joel Embiid doesn't come back, he could easily pay off a $7,300 price tag. Or you can go to the backcourt and take Tyrese Maxey, point guard eligible, 7K, projected for 41. The goal is 40.5, and he's in the optimal lineup 45% of the time. Basically, everything that I said for Harris is the same for Maxey. He's going to play 40 to 42 minutes, 0.97 fantasy points per minute, 25 points, 4.5 boards, and 4 assists, plus a stock and a half. You're probably going to need one of those two guys, whether that's Maxey or Harris. And if you have them both, you probably don't want Harden as well. But I like the idea of just sort of having one of those two guys in everything that I do. The game should still be competitive. Even without Embiid, this game is in Philly, and they're only 3-point underdogs. So I like getting to Maxey. I like getting to Harris. Just be aware of the construction of your lineups. But for now, I've got Maxey by a hair. And then we get to another Sixer at number 2. That's James Harden, point guard, shooting guard eligible, 9K, projected for 52.5. The goal is 54, and he is in the optimal lineup 46% of the time. 2 out of 3, Harden, Maxey, Harris. They're 2, 3, and 4. I don't think you want all 3 of them in a lineup, although I wouldn't rule it out. If you're playing 150 and you get that in 2 or 3, I think that's reasonable. Probably wouldn't be building that in an individual lineup that I'm hand building. 40 minutes for Harden. Usage is down a little bit more than you would expect, but 29% usage, 1.3 fantasy points per minute. We need to remember, James Harden is still really, really good. Just because he's not what he was in 2019 doesn't invalidate him today. We're not paying James Harden's prices that we used to. Yesterday's price is not today's price. 24 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds, close to 2 stocks. That's what we're getting out of Harden, and that's what we're getting out of these 3 guys from Philadelphia. Plus, Paul Reed is on this list, a little bit different from a price perspective. We have to go to Philly. We have to assume that this game is competitive. Now, if Joel Embiid somehow gets ruled in, everything changes here. But assuming that he is still out once again, we should expect competitive basketball out of Philly, and we should assume that 2 of these 3 guys are going to play pretty well. Now, before we get to that number one contender, one last reminder, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Let me know in the comments who your favorite plays are. Then go sign up at No House Advantage using the promo code Awesemo. Number one contender for me today is Dorian Finney-Smith, but honestly, you can move around most of my top 10 and I wouldn't really have much of an issue. Small forward, power forward eligibility here for DFS, 5,500, projected for 29.5. The goal is 30.5. He's in the optimal lineup 48% of the time. I think he's going to play north of 40 minutes. I got him in for 42. We might see him play at the 5 a little bit more here because I don't think Dwight Powell's getting it done. And I actually think that benefits Dorian Finney-Smith. Now, he's a 0.7 fantasy point per minute guy. You need every minute you can get. 12.5 points, 6.5 boards, 2 assists, 2 stocks. That's what we're looking at for Finney-Smith. But you get the MPE, 5,500. He's going to fit in any lineup construction you're trying to put together. I'm just trying to buy as many minutes as I possibly can in this spot, and I think he looks good in this mid-tier. But if I take 1 minute away from Dorian Finney-Smith, James Harden's your number one contender. If I take another minute away from Harden, then it's Maxey. Everybody in that top 7 can really be moved around by just 1 minute more or 1 minute less. But for right now, at 42 minutes, Dorian Finney-Smith is my number one contender. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Friday, May 6th. And that's me saying the date correctly. FanDuel version is around here somewhere, so check it out. Good luck tonight, everybody. Win the money. We're back again on Sunday morning for another edition of the Contenders.